Welcome to Talk of the Bay for today, December 9th. I'm your host, George Cadman, and on today's program, we're going to be talking about the 46th Annual Eco Farm Conference at Asilomar. I'm going to be joined by Ken Foster, who teaches permaculture at Cabrillo College and will present at the conference, and Rebecca North, the executive director of the conference. I'll be back in just a moment with my guests. Thank you for listening to KSQD 90.7 FM and online at ksqd.org. Welcome back to Talk of the Bay today, December 9th. And on today's program, I'm joined by Ken Foster, who's a native of Santa Cruz, was born in the 50s and raised by Quaker parents. He was an apprentice at the UCSC Farm and Garden in 1985, holds an associate's degree in horticulture from Cabrillo College, and has taught the permaculture class at Cabrillo since 2012. Ken is also a landscape contractor, a certified permaculture designer, and the founder and co-owner with his wife Jillian of Terra Nova Ecological Landscaping since 1988. He lives in Santa Cruz with his wife, their 4 dogs, chickens, worms, and bees at their permaculture demonstration home site. Ken believes that the permaculture ethics, care for the earth and care for the people, are a way of life here on the Central Coast, and he is thrilled to be part of the upcoming 46th Annual Eco Farm Conference this January at Asilomar in Pacific Grove. Hello, Ken.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me in the studio today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, pleasure.
Also joining me on the phone is Rebecca North. She is the executive director of the Ecological Farming Association, where they lead with purpose, passion, and a deep commitment to farmers. New to the nonprofit world with 20 plus years experience working in the produce industry nationwide, Rebecca has a proven track record of building strategic partnerships, growing impact, and driving sustainable change. Mother, queer, gardener, hobby herbalist, straight-edge punk, East Coaster, Spartan racer, and lover of cherries, Rebecca has a master's degree in transnational feminism from SFSU and lives in the Bay Area. And again, she is the executive director of they are the executive director of the Ecological Farming Association. I'm very pleased to welcome Rebecca to the program today.
Hi, hello.
Hi,
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us today to talk about this exciting conference that's coming up, and it's in its 46th year. That is really impressive. So I don't know who wants to take this first question that I have, but how did the Eco Farm Conference get its start 46 years ago? What was the mission and vision originally, and has it evolved over the years, over the 46 years? I don't know who wants to grab that
Rebecca.
Question.
Well,
Ken's calling on you.
Yeah, sure. I can take it. Ken, I didn't realize you lived with worms. That's so exciting.
I have worm bins.
How many worms? Do they all have names?
Oh, yeah, every one
Right.
of them.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Yes, so Eco Farm it did. Started 46 years ago. Amigo Bob Consanto was one of the founders. Unfortunately, no longer with us, but he really gathered up a couple of folks that has grown into thousands, of course. But yeah, 46 years ago, he had the courage and vision to create a space for organic growers to convene at a time when organic methodologies and practices were ostracized. Here we are, almost a half a century later, and the Ecological Farming Association remains dedicated to facilitating the intergenerational exchange of knowledge and advancing equity and cultivating the next generation of organic growers. Just ensuring that the future of food and farming is socially just and economically viable for all.
Great. So I want to get into the details of what folks can expect if they attend. I hear a dog in the background. I got a dog right next to me. No problem. I have a dog right next to me in the studio today. Actually unplugged Ken's headphones right before we went on air, which is why there was so much intro music today. There's always something. I want to get into talking about the presenters, the pre-events, the workshops and the speakers and all of that in a moment. But let's do bigger picture before we dive into the details. Who can attend this conference and why do they attend? What would be what are the rewards, I guess? And is this for specific people or is this for anybody who's interested in some of the topics that are being presented? And that's a question for both of you. So I'll let Ken go first. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
It's such a wide variety of people that come. I mean, there's people in marketing, sales, for farmers. There's soil scientists. There's students. A lot of students. I've been encouraging my students at Cabrillo College to apply for the scholarships.
Your permaculture students?
Yeah, the permaculture students, and so it's certainly by and large aimed at farmers for farmers, but there's gardeners and there's permaculturalists and homesteaders and landscapers and a really wonderful wide variety of people interested in this.
Yeah, it says on the website that EcoFarm is the oldest and largest organic farming conference west of the Mississippi, bringing together more than 1,500 farmers, ranchers, and food system leaders each year, an inspiring gathering dedicated to ecological agriculture, social justice, and building resilient, equitable food systems. So is just pretty much anyone out in the public who's interested?
Open.
So what's the deadline?
Oh, yeah.
What's the deadline for signing up for the conference, and what is the cost? Is it very expensive? Is there different tiered levels of it? Like you can go for just one day instead of all 4 days, or do you have to pay for lodging? Like how does that work? Rebecca.
Yeah. So there are multiple ways to answer this question. I mean, early bird registration ends this Friday. And so it's for 4 days, it's $449. And then it moves up to $100 more. And you can register until the Thursday before, so January 15th is the cutoff. We also this year have a farmer discount. This is a big deal. It's almost half the price.
Wow. Now, is that just for farm owners, or does that go for their employees as well?
Both. Yeah.
Really?
You just have to fill out the application, and we read through all of those and just verify that the farm is active and producing and we're hoping to have a lot of growers there this year and beginning farmers, experienced farmers, medium-sized growers, small family farms, urban growers.
Farmers that are not farmers yet, but contemplating farming, perhaps?
Of course. Gardeners. I mean, yes, as well as, scientists and policymakers and the movers and shakers from all walks of life. Yeah.
So here it says that it's about 1,500 that traditionally attend this conference. What if this radio show, being as wildly popular, brings in twice that many? Are you going to be able to handle that? That new level of folks?
Let's do it. And I'll call you. You can come too.
I'd love to. I went many, many years ago, and it was absolutely wonderful. Not only the amazing workshops on everything under the sun that related to sustainability and farming, and there was Paul Stamets. When I went, he did a workshop on mushrooms and fungi, and but also the fun stuff that happened after hours, the bonfires and music, whatever. I just remember it being a really fun time because it wasn't just about learning. That was a big part of it, but networking and getting to know people and having community, really. It's a whole experience. I would highly recommend it, and I'd be happy to go again. So it's coming up this January, the 21st through the 25th, correct?
The 21st through the 24th.
Oh, of January.
Of January. We have a pre-conference at Piscinas Ranch on Tuesday, January 20th. And then we have 3 pre-conferences on the 21st. One about permaculture, which Ken can speak to, one about the supply chain, and one about seeds. Our theme this year is about seeds. Seeds of Strength is what we're calling it. Our keynote is Wednesday night, and then we have lots of workshops and mixers, and we have a band Friday night, and then it ends on Saturday midday. People can come for one day, 2 days, all 4 days. And there are many, many hotels and places to stay. There's even camping in Monterey County if people want to go.
Oh, awesome. And so the lodging is probably not included in the conference price, right? That's something you have to figure out in addition. You can stay at Asilomar or you can camp. Okay. And so if you sign up by this Friday, you get that, by signing up early by this Friday, you save $100. And then there's also, as you were saying, half off for people involved in farmers and folks who are farmers, and also those working in agriculture, sounds like. Oh, and then you have some scholarships, right, Ken? You were saying that there's some scholarships available.
I don't know how many exactly are available. Rebecca, can you?
That deadline just passed. Deadline just passed. But we did collect many applications. We're going to give away 200 scholarships this year.
Oh,
wow!
Yeah,
that's great. So for folks that are lower income or students or just not in a position to cover the full thing. Okay.
I hope some of those are from Cabrillo.
Most likely there are.
Great.
So let's talk about the main conference after we talk about some of the pre-conference events. Rebecca, you were saying there's a pre-conference event at Piscinas Ranch. Can you talk about that? Are the pre-conference events included in the total cost of the conference, or are they separate?
Those are separate.
Okay.
Those are separate. Yes, and so the one on the 20th at Piscinas, that is at Piscinas Ranch. It is not at Asilomar.
Where is Piscinas Ranch?
It's right near Pinnacles. It's right near Pinnacles
it's not
National
in Santa
Park.
Cruz County. Okay. So what? Tell us about that. Tell us about what people can expect if they sign up for that pre-conference event at Piscinas Ranch.
So that's from 9 to 5. And Piscinas Ranch, of course, is a regenerative organic farm. So there will be a lot of discussions about insights and observations from experienced farmers and ranchers who have been growing regeneratively for a number of years. Dr. Jonathan Lundgren is going to be there from the 1,000 Farms Initiative, as well as Christina Lind, also from the 1,000 Farms Initiative, and then Tony Serrano from JS Family Farms, and Kelly Mulville from Piscinas Ranch Vineyard, because they've done a lot with the vineyards there, and Benina Montes from Burroughs Family Farms. So that is $125. Lunch is included in that, and that is on Tuesday, January 20th.
9 a.m. to 5 p.m. includes an organic lunch, and it's, again, there's a series of speakers, and you mentioned Dr. Jonathan Lundgren, but there are several others who are involved in diverse integrated farming systems, and they're going to talk about their real-world observations and insights, and I imagine there'll be question and answer and probably a opportunity to talk directly with a lot of folks who have knowledge. Okay, so that's one of the pre-conference events. That's the day before the conference starts on January 21st. That one is January 20th. That's a Tuesday. So tell me about the other pre-conference events, and maybe Ken, you can jump in on this because you're speaking at one of them, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, shall I?
Tell us about the other pre-conference event that's going on.
You know what's fun is that the main theme of EcoFarm this year, like Rebecca said, is Seeds of Strength, but it continues empowering farmers for a changing climate. And so that's kind of the overall theme of the conference this year. And on my way riding my bicycle to the conference last year, and that's a side story.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
But on my way to the conference last year, I thought I would like to do a pre-conference on permaculture. And because I really wanted to kind of highlight the importance of permaculture and gardening and homesteading and farming and urban farming and landscaping. And so we have put together this pre-conference, and the title of this is, whereas, I'm sorry, I lost my place here, Permaculture and Land Stewardship in a Changing Climate. So it goes right hand in hand with the overall theme of the conference. And so we have a great lineup of speakers, including Penny Livingston, who's a longtime permaculture teacher, some 30 years, and Starhawk will be presenting, and myself, and I'm releasing, I'm publishing a book, and I'm releasing my book at this conference, at the pre-conference, and I'm actually doing a book release party at the conference. We also have Lydia Nielsen and Anne Freewald involved, and David Shaw from Santa Cruz Permaculture. So we have a list of 6 presenters.
And what day is that pre-conference event?
And this pre-conference is on the 21st, Wednesday the 21st.
In the morning?
The main conference starts that night.
Okay.
And it goes from 9:30 to 4:30, or 9, I think it's 9 to 4:30.
And I understand that Starhawk is going to be one of the presenters?
Starhawk is one of the presenters.
Is that at the pre-conference? What is she going to be talking about?
We have a wonderful weaving of different subjects around kind of resilient food growing and land stewardship in a changing climate. And so we'll have different takes on that, with Starhawk talking about the diversity in our systems. She has a wonderful talk planned. And we're going to have Lydia Nielsen's going to be doing real-time graphic recording, which will be really fun.
What is that?
Art, like she'll have a giant artboard with color pens and paints, drawing images of what the speakers are talking about. And she'll be presenting. And so...
Okay, great. So
that's that pre-conference.
There's the pre-conference event at Piscines Ranch, which is the prior day, January 20th. It's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then the next day on the 21st, there's the pre-conference event that Ken is presenting at, and Starhawk and the others, which is going to be Wednesday, January 21st from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. before the full conference starts that evening, the 21st, and runs through the 24th. So let's talk about the main conference, the main EcoFarm conference. Rebecca, can you tell us about some of the presenters at that conference and some of the workshops you're excited about, and basically what can people expect?
Well, we have 70 workshops this year, and it's just super exciting. There are so many really incredible speakers, and it's worth noting that at least half of the workshops will be farming workshops, like how to farm, how to grow a cover crop, how to pick seeds for the region that you're in, weed management, soil testing methodologies, different permaculture ones, of course, as well, some of which Ken and Starhawk will be involved in, and just lots of different like technical farming workshops. So across many different categories, agronomy, which of course would be soil fertility and different farming systems, as well as pests, crop-specific things, and then we get into like the infrastructure pieces around equipment and business and research, around like how to run a business. And
so
then,
kind of covering all the angles of what somebody who's in farming or thinking about entering that field is dealing with.
That's right.
Comprehensive.
Yes. And then we start getting into the environmental factors and the regulation. The agrivoltaics is a hot topic right now. Just collecting solar energy and how solar panels can really transform the efficiency of a farm. Land reform, of course, groundwater management is a huge one for California, so that'll be a big part of it. And then there's some really unbelievable empowerment workshops on a variety of things. Seed, of course, being one of them, and seed sovereignty. That is the theme specific to tribal food futures. Really uplifting indigenous voices there, and the farm to school conversation will be a big one as well, and getting fresh organic food into institutions, and then of course the supply chain stuff. So there are so many pieces from when a piece of food gets harvested to when it actually ends up at a table. So bringing in those experts. In both the supply chain pre-conference, in the workshop, and on the Saturday keynote by Nancy Matsumoto's new book, really highlighting how women are transforming the supply chain and the work that's being done around logistics and wholesaling and grower packer shippers and folks who are grading food and packing it up and how it's getting to everybody's tables. So, wow. And we have many, many sessions interpreted into Spanish and given in Spanish. So that's a highlight too.
And there's additional things going on as we talked about the networking events that are going to be taking place outside of the regular workshops and keynote addresses. There's going to be a seed swap. Can you talk about that a little bit, Ken?
That's a wonderful event. The campus there at Asilomar is really quite a lovely
place. Gorgeous.
The grounds there, a lot of native plants, and there's a great main hall, the Merrill Hall, and the seed swap is like 300 people with farmers bringing seeds from all over and swapping them basically, and that's just really an amazing event. We also have a dance, and we have just other things we're doing, a permaculture mixer on Friday evening with myself, Terra Nova Landscape, and David Shaw with Santa Cruz Permaculture.
It says there's going to be tastings. What does that mean?
Are there tastings, Rebecca?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So we have a wine and cider tasting on Thursday, and a beer and kombucha tasting on Friday. So we have, at least a dozen or 15 vendors at each of those who will be there pouring. I think it's $35 for the wine tasting and a little bit less for the beer and kombucha. And it's pretty much all you can taste. We do provide some snacks and encourage people to,
not
hydrate.
Get wasted. Let's just cut to the chase. So what about the expo tent as well? It says here you have a vibrant expo tent.
Yeah, the expo tent has all kinds of businesses and booksellers, and that's where the beer tasting is, and all kinds of farm implements that are available, and just an amazing group of people that are serving organic farmers. We also there was a couple of pre-conferences that we didn't say anything about. And there was the one about, Rebecca maybe can say more of the one on seed saving, and I guess also supply chain. Is that right? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we have one called Sowing Strength that all starts with the seed, and this one is 9 to 4 on Wednesday, January 21st. And this one will really be talking about how to source and grow the highest quality organic seeds. And, of course, in climate change, as we are now in a variety of microclimates and regions, where to buy seed, right beyond like these big corporate conglomerates. Like, how do we support the independent seed producers and folks doing really innovative, incredible hybridizing and seed trials and testing and growing of these seeds, and just so many different perspectives. Emigdio Leon, who is the former director of agriculture at the Puebla of Tusky down in New Mexico, is coming in for this. Jared Zystro from Organic Seed Alliance, Aaron Verratti from High Mowing Seeds, Steve Peters from Seed Revolution Now. Steve is also on our planning committee and has been for a number of years, along with Ken. Rosie Reynolds from Eel River Produce, Lauren Buffalo Muscatine from Napa County Seed Library, Rebecca Newbern from the Seed Library Network, Andrew Still from Adaptive Seeds, Val Davis from the CCUF Certification Services, because of course compliance is part of this, and Steve Sprinkle from Farmer and the Cook, who's also on the board of directors of EcoFarm. And huge shout out to them and to the planning committee, our diversity advisory group, our Spanish advisory committee, our advanced farmer committee. There's so many folks that really put this together, and our incredible staff. It really takes a village to put this together.
And it's such a wonderful
So
village.
how do folks get information about the conference? Can you direct the listeners to the website and how they can navigate it to find out about all the pre-conference events? And
and the cost also.
And let's not talk
Rebecca.
about exact figures on costs anymore. I was notified it's not allowed.
Okay.
Well, everybody can go to eco-farm.org. So our website is up and running, and you can register there. And all of this information about the pre-conferences and the scheduling, workshops, and of course our bus tour. We have a bus tour on Wednesday the 21st. This year we're going to Live Earth Farm as well as JSM Organics to visit Javier. And then Piscinus Ranch will be there on Wednesday too, getting a tour from Sally Calhoun, who's the founder and owner of Piscinus Ranch, along with Kelly Melville. And what's really cool about those bus tours is, you get tours of these farms and also one-on-one time with the people who are giving them. If you have specific questions about commodities that you're growing that are also being grown on these farms, it's a really neat way to talk to folks that are growing them.
Sounds like it. I want to remind listeners that this is Talk of the Bay. You're listening to KSQD 90.7 FM and online at ksqd.org. And also we're at 89.5 and 89.7 in Prunedale. And my name is George Cadman. I'm speaking with Ken Foster. Again, he is one of the presenters at the upcoming Ecological Eco Farm Conference that's starting January 21st, and he's going to be involved in a pre-conference event that day as well. And he's the co-owner of Terra Nova Ecological Landscaping, and teaches permaculture at Cabrillo College, where he's taught that since 2012. My other guest is Rebecca North, the executive director of the Ecological Farming Association, where they lead with purpose, passion, and deep commitment to farmers. And I want to let folks know that if you're wanting to call in, you can in the next 15 minutes with a question or a comment for one of my guests. 831-900-5773 if you'd like to call in and join the conversation. 831-900-5773 if you have a question or a comment. So, and I want to ask a question about the food. Is that included, and we can't talk about, again, sums of money now, because I've been told it's not allowed here, but is that included in the cost of the conference, your food? Because it sounds like lodging is not. You have to seek lodging, whether you return to your home every night, or you get a campsite, or you get a room in the area. But what about the food? Is that included in the cost?
Food is not included. You can buy meal tickets online when you register. And what's worth noting about the food is it is all organic.
Oh, lovely.
So we partner with the chef at Asilomar, Chef David, who does an unbelievable job, him and his team, creating all of these meals that we put together as EcoFarm staff. We have someone on staff who strategically sources all of the proteins and fresh veg and fruit, everything, dairy, starting in August. So we start talking to Chef David in August about what how we're conceptualizing the meals. Of course, really going heavy on the fresh, like seasonal veg and fruit from local farmers.
Some of whom might be attendees at the conference, right?
Sure. Yeah, or even sponsors. I mean, we have unbelievably generous sponsors, and some of whom do donate food. I mean, Mountain Rose Herbs, they're not in California, they're up in Oregon, but they're donating all the tea. Cafe Mom donates all the coffee. So we have organic coffee for the whole thing. And then we are so grateful to have such strong sponsors, The Farmer and the Cook, Full Belly Farm, of course, and then Veritable Vegetable does so much trucking for us, and UCA&R, Cal Organic Farms. I mean, we have
and there's probably vegan and vegetarian options as well, right?
Yes.
Of course. Okay.
Oh yeah,
yes.
And probably
and gluten free
and everything. Yeah, great.
Gluten-free.
So why should some? I mean, you've already kind of told me, but why should somebody get purchase their meals and share them there with the other folks in the dining hall, as opposed to, say, bringing a peanut butter jelly sandwich in their bag?
It's such a great community, and there's so many amazing people that you'll just sit next to that have been farming for 40 years, and it's just really quite remarkable. One thing that's fun. I serve on the planning committee for the conference, and we started planning for this conference some 8 months ago or more. Isn't that right, Rebecca?
Yeah,
something like that. And the thing is that we get all these proposals for all these workshops, and then the planning committee votes for the ones that we want, and we kind of lobby each other and end up with the series of workshops that we have planned.
So it's a community effort to plan this whole thing out.
Amazing experience to be involved here. And I've been on this planning committee for 30 plus years, and it's just been it's very rewarding. And I personally knew that it was such an important event that I started riding my bike there from Santa Cruz 24 years ago, and this year in the January will be my 25th year of riding from Santa Cruz to Asilomar.
Awesome. And don't you stop along the way and spend the night somewhere? Yeah.
Well, I used to do it in one day. The first year I did it with 9 other people.
Oh, fun.
And then we used to do it in one day. And then I say in my old age, I ride from Santa Cruz to Moss Landing and stay at an inn, Captain's Inn in Moss Landing, and then
finish the trek
the
next day.
The next day, ride up on
refreshed after your morning whatever, coffee or chai or whatever. We have a phone call. Hello, caller. You're on the air with Ken Foster and Rebecca North from the Eco Farm.
I have a question about fertilizers for organic farms. The 2 best crops I ever grew, I used horse manure. Would it make a difference on what the horse ate to be able to classify it as organic, or how does that fall into play?
Sounds like you should attend the conference.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, who wants to answer that one?
Go ahead, Ken.
Doesn't matter what the horse ate.
Thank you for your call, caller.
I mean, I think it's going to be important that they're eating a pasture that's organic, and but if it's just a field that's fallow, I think that's going to be good. Horses do a lot of the processing, and that their manure needs to be composted in a way that makes it viable. If you're making compost from manure, whether it's chicken or horse, there's some stipulations. You have to turn a compost pile 5 times in 15 days for it to be considered organic.
Are there any workshops at the conference about this?
There must be.
There must be.
Composting.
Manure
Composting,
versus...
yes. Horses specifically, no. But you can always weave it in.
All right. I want to let listeners know that if you have a question or a comment about our topic, the Eco Farm Conference, today you can call in at 831-900-5773. And if you have a question for Ken Foster, who's going to be one of the presenters at the Eco Farm this year and involved in the pre-conference and riding his bike all the way down there. And
doing a GoFundMe.
Oh, yeah, talk about that in a moment. Or if you have a question for Rebecca North, Executive
Not that
Director.
I want to get too off track, but
you have a fundraiser for the Eco Farm Conference.
Yeah, my ride, because it's 25 years, I figured I better cash in on this and do a benefit for the conference and for helping to underwrite the pre-conference that we're doing. So there's a GoFundMe campaign for my bike ride, and I'm inviting people to donate to that, and it all goes to either scholarships or to the pre-conference that we're doing.
Scholarships for folks who might otherwise be unable to attend due to the cost,
which have been awarded now apparently.
Right, for this year, but this is we're going to have the 47th annual next year, so that's the money will go to the pre-conference events and to helping with next year's scholarships and to the conference itself, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
So I have a question about that. So the funds that you raise through folks essentially purchasing, I guess, a ticket or whatever for day or days or the whole conference or the pre-conference events for their, they pay for their attendance. That doesn't cover the cost of the conference. It doesn't cover the cost of the pre-conference events and the conference. There's a gap that needs to be filled with the fundraising.
No, the registration does cover.
I guess what I mean is, is the conference itself needing additional funds?
Only in that we would provide more honorariums for the speakers, but it's not essential. It's just that it would help us have a little slush fund that we can use because we have people traveling distance that are coming to present.
It helps with travel costs and the presenters get compensated.
And I want to just clarify real quick. I'm going to jump in. Excuse me.
Yes.
So just to clarify, the GoFundMe that Ken is doing is for his bike ride and largely for the permaculture pre-conference that he's working on. And then we have a whole separate just fundraising campaign generally for the Ecological Farming Association as an organization and for Eco Farm, because there are so many expenses, as you can imagine, for putting on an event that has, 300 plus speakers.
Right.
And I will say, I mean, we did do for Giving Tuesday a campaign for scholarships, and we raised some money that way, which is fantastic. Now we can send 6 more people.
Awesome.
Really awesome. And then, generally the sponsors, we've been working with, Farmer and the Cook, Full Belly Farm, and of course the Hose Down. Oh my gosh, if you've never been to Full Belly Farm, the first weekend in October for Hose Down, you gotta go. It is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
We've got just so many really, really cool, fun, exciting things for families, kids. You can camp right there at Full Belly Farm under the walnut trees.
Where is Full Belly Farm?
That is in Gwenda, so it's kind of by Sacramento.
Okay. And you're saying this is a fundraiser that takes place in October for the Ecological Farming Association and the Eco Farm Conference?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
That's right. So Drew Rivers and Paul Muller, Andrew Brait, they have been working, and Judith, who I think is retired now. Oh, my God. Congratulations, Judith. So they're one of the first organic farms in California. A lot of history there, and they just grow unbelievable fruits and vegetables and nuts. They do the grains now too.
Are you talking about Full Belly?
Full Belly Farm.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that farm. Yeah, and they sell at the farmers market. Some of them in Santa Cruz.
They're exactly. So they've been. I mean, Drew has been on the board of directors for I think 40 years.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, long time giver.
Yeah.
Activist.
Yeah. So the sponsors are really what makes it work. I mean, huge shout out to Farmhand Foundation, who I just found out today that they're going to be donating. And Veritable Vegetable, of course, does all of the logistics. They transport all of the food from the farms to Asilomar, which is such a big help.
One thing that we do on Friday night, I know we're running low on time.
We have 9 minutes.
But we have on Friday evening, we have an awards banquet. We give an award called the Susty Award to people that have, been working in the field for many years, and it's kind of a way to honor them. And so that's a wonderful event that I always look forward to. And so it's just a real amazing community of people. I kind of consider it my annual university to go and just look at all the different possible. I'll go to a workshop that I know nothing about, and I've never even heard of the topic, and I'll go and learn so much about it. So it's just really a wonderful place to be in. You can walk down to the beach from there at Asilomar. So it's just really
it's gorgeous.
Quite a treat to be there.
Mm-hmm. So I want to remind listeners, this is Talk of the Bay. I'm your host, George Cadman. I'm speaking with Ken Foster, who teaches permaculture at Cabrillo College and is presenting at this year's EcoFarm 46th Annual EcoFarm Conference from January 21st through the 24th at Asilomar, and also Rebecca North, Executive Director of the conference. And we only have about 7 minutes left in the program. So I want to let folks know, if you want to call in, 831-900-5773 is the number to call if you have a question or a comment. But I want to give each one of you an opportunity to, I guess essentially tell folks why this conference is so important, what they can expect if they attend, why they should attend, and maybe a personal story or two from your own experience at the conference. It could be anything you want, but I'm not asking you necessarily to sell people on this, but I kind of am. Like, what is it? It's so exciting about this 46th annual EcoFarm conference.
Mm-hmm.
Ken, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, I've just been so connected with this group of people for so long. I just look forward to it. And the kind of funny thing, the story for me is that I've been working on a book for about 25 years, and it's always been on the back burner. And I finally decided, and I have a good handful of rejection letters from publishers, so I just decided I needed to get this thing done. And so I chose EcoFarm as my date to release, get the book published. And
nice,
so
good plan.
I'm able to have that be a event that's happening, and a book signing, and
you got a bike
party.
ride at the beginning, you got a book signing, got a pre-conference event, permaculture and climate change, got the whole conference. You must be really pumped.
And the book is titled Confessions of a Bicycle-Powered Landscaper.
Nice. Kind of a memoir?
It's kind of a memoir and story of ecological landscaping inspired by being on a bicycle.
Awesome. That sounds like a great story. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So, Rebecca, did you want to chime in?
Sure.
What are you looking forward to?
I can't wait to read that book, Ken.
I know.
Well, I'm really excited to see Carlton Turner on Wednesday night.
Tell us a little bit about
Wednesday
him.
Night. And he is from Mississippi. He's an artist, agriculturalist, builder, researcher. He's been in this game for like 20 years of organizational development, working in the arts and culture down in Mississippi, and he has also been on the board of First Peoples Fund and the National Black Food and Justice Alliance. He's going to really have an unbelievable keynote on Wednesday night about seed and the parallels of seed and transformation in soil and human life and interaction. It's just going to be really incredible. So I'm super pumped about that. And of course, we'll have a discussion on Thursday about the immigration situation, protecting immigrant and farmers and farm workers.
That's one of the workshops, or just a meeting?
That is one of the keynotes. That's on Thursday.
A keynote. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's doing the keynote on
Friday, Thursday? We have a variety of folks. We're going to have a panel. So Martita Martinez Bravo, from executive director. She's the executive director of Friends of Field Workers. Luis Alejo, the Monterey County Supervisor. Elsa Meja, she's with the City of Madera City Council, and Paul Underhill of Terra Nova Farms. He's been growing for a long time up in Winters. So
it sounds like this conference attracts people from all over the state and even outside of the state, huh?
It's true. And actually, on Friday, we're going to have the Successful Farmers keynote, and on Saturday we're going to do the one I mentioned before with Nancy Matsumoto, how women are rebuilding our regenerative supply chains. And for that one, we'll have folks from all over the country.
Wow.
We've got a couple of folks coming in. Karen Washington's coming in from Brooklyn, talking about the amazing work that she's been doing for decades now. So that will be fantastic. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And you know, I've been to almost 20 eco farm conferences, and when I say that it kicks off the year, it really does. And I've really been trying to build out programming throughout the year so that we have other things going on, and we can support farmers in a variety of ways throughout the year. And so we'll have an event in April at JSM Farms. We're going to do one in May about regenerative avocados, citrus, and strawberries in Ventura. And then we'll do one about seeds in June. And then, of course, we'll have Hose Down in October. So
how can people be in a position where they're informed about all of this and not just hearing a radio show, this January there's this conference? So I imagine if you go to the conference, there's all kinds of ways to plug in, right? But you're saying newsletter, Ken?
Rebecca, isn't that?
Yeah, join our mailing list.
Yeah, list.
Right on our main page. Yeah. You can jump on the mailing list, and that'll keep you. We have a newsletter that we send out every month, so you can join that way. And then also on social media, you know, we're cross-promoting things all of the time with UCA&R, for example, who holds events and sponsored our whole Spanish language track, and some of the other partners that we have. Dr. Bronner's, CCOF, Organically Grown Company. They're up in Washington, Oregon, and then local seed producers, and we stay relevant, you know.
Yeah,
Open things up a little.
All right, and the website is eco-farm.org, correct?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, eco-farm.org to get information about the 46th annual Eco Farm. Again, the oldest and largest organic farming conference west of the Mississippi, bringing together more than 1,500 farmers, ranchers, and food system leaders each year. An inspiring gathering dedicated to ecological agriculture, social justice, and building resilient, equitable food systems. Eco-farm.org to get more information. We're out of time. I'm sorry, but thank you so very much for joining me today, Ken Foster and Rebecca North. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
All right, hopefully I'll see you at the conference.
Okay.
See you in January.
See you in January.
Hope to see you there.
All right, thank you so much. Take care. And again, that is eco-farm.org to get information about all the pre-conference events and about the conference itself. And all the great things surrounding the 46th annual Eco Farm Conference, eco-farm.org. Thank you so much for listening to Talk of the Bay today.